So today we're taking over the Phillies because they got knocked out by the Mets in the postseason. They just really didn't show up in that series, and the power of Grimace just kind of took over for the Mets. And for that, Philly season's over. I think potentially there could be a little bit of a change with this Phillies team. Obviously, with that core, it's probably not going anywhere, but there's a couple different positions that I feel like they might look to upgrade. In that core, I talked about Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Castellanos, and Real Muto. I feel like those are the ones that are kind of in the lineup. Those are the ones you can keep there. Maybe Castellanos might get thrown out there in some trade talks just to see if you can find somebody that will take that contract. But at the same time, the guy can hit. You might as well keep him. But then you look at the bottom half of this lineup that I've assembled just to kind of make it a little easier. Marsh, Bohm, Rojas. I feel like those are the three that could definitely kind of get thrown out there to see if anybody will trade for him. Bryson Stott, I feel like as a second baseman, he's fine. It's not necessarily like he's bad and you need to upgrade him. I feel like he's an okay second baseman, so you'd be fine keeping him. But those other three, I feel like they're on the chopping block. Pitching wise, there's two free agents in Carlos Estevez, who in this save I've brought back. He signed a $4 million contract. I think for the bullpen, that's not a bad move to make. And I could see the Phillies trying to bring him back as well. And then the other guy that becomes a free agent, just really quickly, is Jeff Hoffman. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. I believe in an interview, he said that he wants to come back to the Phillies. Currently, I haven't offered him an offer because I have 22 million in pending offers, and I only have a budget of 57 million. So I wanted to hold off and make sure that I could open up some more money before I gave him a contract, because currently he wants about 10 mil for a 3-year contract, and this is kind of what I was looking to give him, a 3-year deal. So I need to find some more money. But Jeff Hoffman is definitely a player I could see the Phillies going back in for, because one, in real life he was good, and also in this save he was also pretty good too. And I definitely want to bring him back for this bullpen. But this starting rotation could definitely use a 5th/4th starter. You know, Sanchez is good, Nola's good, Suarez is good, Wheeler's good. But just to have that depth, and Taijuan Walker is not that guy. So we definitely need to find a new starter. So potentially an outfielder, a starter, potentially a third baseman this offseason. There's a lot of work to be done. Two pitching prospects in Painter and Mick Abel are there, but I don't necessarily think they're ready to hit the major leagues yet. I know Mick Abel really struggled in the minors this year. Two shortstop / infield prospects in Starling Caba and Aiden Miller. Again, a few seasons away, but they could potentially feature in this rebuild. And then Justin Crawford is the other young prospect that I wanted to point out. Again, could feature in this outfield because I mean, we might need one soon. So I do have a couple trades lined up because I want to open up some more money and I want to make some changes to this team. So let's go do that. This is probably the most boring one. I'm getting rid of Taijuan Walker's 3-year deal, or I guess I should say it is a 3-year deal, but he has this year and next year for Nick Martinez, whose contract expires after the 2025 season. I know I could probably go out and get a cheaper deal, but I felt like this one expires. It's 13 mil compared to 18 mil. And as a 5th starter or potentially a long reliever, it's not the worst option. He wasn't amazing by any means, but hey, I will take it because it is a slight salary dump and we do get a year off the contract. So I'm going to take it. We also have to get rid of Dominic Pipkin. It's okay. This next one, little shocking, but we're gonna go back to the Angels. Remember the Ohapi / Marsh trade? Well, here we've got Rojas for Reed Detmers. I know Detmers did struggle in real life this year, but I really need that extra starting pitcher. And Johan Rojas, I don't have faith in. I don't have faith in. I'm sure the glove's great. He's got the speed, but the bat, I just don't have faith in it. So you know what? He hit 237 in this save. I'm going to flip him to the Angels so they get a little bit more depth in the outfield. And we're going to pick up Reed Detmers, who somehow went up to be potential, even though he just went 3-17 with almost a 6 ERA. So this is pretty similar to what he did in real life. So I'm going to take it. He's still 25 years old, a couple years left of arbitration. Let's flip the coin. Hopefully it works in our favor. Joey Estes was also a target instead of Detmers. That was really the two that I was thinking between for pitchers that just kind of worked best with like still being young, being team controllable, and having some potential. And I saw that Detmers got beat potential, so that's why I went with him. So we need a new center fielder. The Cubs have plenty of outfield depth. As you can see, there's plenty there. There's just happened left field, but then center field, you've got Bellinger, PCA, and Kevin Alcantara. So I'm going to pick up the 22-year-old center fielder. The hitting stats already look better than Johan Rojas. Decent fielding, decent speed, 6'6". I'm excited about this one. I do have to give up Mika Bell, but again, I just don't think he's going to be a starter for us long term. And also with his struggles in real life, I feel like maybe the Phillies could try to flip him. I also do have to get rid of Gabriel Rincones, who, sure, why not? And Rodolfo Castro, just because that was like the last piece that got the trade done. So there we go. I have to pick up a reliever because if I give them 3 for 1, it has too many players on the Cubs side. As you can see here, I'll just show you really quickly. They can't do it. It'll put them over the maximum number of players. So I'm taking this reliever, making it fair. Boom. That's our new center fielder. All right. I've been looking, and this is currently the lineup, and I'm looking going, Marsh or Bohm are getting traded. And Marsh is a little bit younger. He's going to have one more year of team control. And I looked at free agency, right? And I was like, who do we sign instead? I'm not going to be able to afford Soto. I just can't do it. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. Tyler O'Neill, he's 29, maybe. Santander, more of a DH nowadays, not really a left fielder. Don't really see anybody here. And then Teoscar, more of a DH. Profar, maybe. Conforto, maybe Verdugo could be someone that the Phillies go after. But at the same time, I'm looking for someone that would be an upgrade. And based on what Marsh did in this save, I don't really know who I'm going to find that would be an upgrade. And also Bohm, like I said, a little bit older, 1 year less of team control. And I feel like let's trade him. Let's trade him instead. And there's a certain player that has been open about potentially moving back to third base. And he's on a team that, kind of in a weird spot. That's Vladdy Jr. So how are we going to pull this trade off? Well, it's going to include Bohm. It's also going to include Starling Kaba. And it's also going to include Justin Crawford. And that is literally the only way that I can get the trade done for Vlad without including Wheeler, Nola, Turner, Harper, any of the guys that I want to keep. So I know I've traded 3 of the 5 prospects that I've highlighted, but we're getting Vladdy. We're moving him back to third, and he does become a free agent. I know he does, but we'll have the money to keep him around because a couple players become free agents. We'll be fine. Vladdy is our new third baseman. All right, then I'm currently $3 million over the available budget, and I do still need to kind of fill out the rest of the farm system, pick up a couple depth pieces. So sadly, Nick Martinez's time as a Philly is not going to last much longer. I'm actually going to go to the Rangers because apparently they need pitching. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe Dane Dunning. I'm going to take Owen White off their hands, and we're going to call it a day on the trades. That's the move. So starting the season, actually, let me get to the regular season really quickly. We are currently ranked 2nd. Defense is really the thing that's holding us back, and understandable. This is the team. I actually meant to move Turnbull into this spot. We'll let Allard be the long reliever, but this is the rotation. We've got Wheeler, Suarez, Nola, Sanchez, and Detmers. That's our 5. Our bullpen currently looks like this as well. It looks really strong. I like it a lot. I don't know if Orion will stay here, but we'll see how it goes. And then of course, Jeff Hoffman's here. I guess we could also go Strom if we really wanted to in the setup role. Probably should. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Either way, lineup. Obviously, Vladdy as the new third baseman. That is a big addition to the team. Castellanos, Marsh, Real Muto, Stott, and then Alcantara in center field. I'm going to be a little patient with him. He's only 22. The hitting stats aren't amazing, but I felt like he's 2 years younger than Rojas. I feel like we got a little bit more growth to go, and I feel pretty good about the team. Obviously, our depth in the farm system isn't as good as it was prior to those trades, but we also brought in Conforto. We already had Edmundo Sosa. We already had Garrett Stubbs and Paul DeJong. I'm going to be on the lookout for a catcher, most likely. Realistically, I feel like we're going to need one. We do have Marchand, so there's that, who could probably get called up at any moment because we're probably going to need a catcher. So I'm going to keep my eye out for one. But big news, big news is, where is he? Vladdy has signed an extension. So 2025 was his RB year. He got 16 mil. But as you can see, I gave him a 10-year deal. So it was like 32-ish mil for 10 years, each year for 10 years. And I backloaded it, so it gave us a little bit more flexibility for a majority of this rebuild. So we're paying him 21, 24, 27, and 30.8 mil for the rest of this rebuild, which honestly, not a bad deal. And if you look at the budget, this year it's a little tight, right? We're slightly over budget. Next year it's also going to be pretty tight, but then it starts to go down from there. Like we lose Real Muto this season. We also lose Schwarber's salary, so that's the big two. And then we also lose Castellanos after this, and I still feel like we'll be fine. Like we'll be able to find players that fit our budget easily, because the majority of them, like catchers, aren't too expensive. I'm not worried about that, right? Schwarber, I feel like if we really wanted to, we can bring him back on a cheaper deal. Pitchers, I feel like we'll be fine as well. We can either find one on arbitration or on a fairly cheap deal also. Plus, like, Wheeler's here for a majority of the rebuild. Suarez becomes a free agent this year. That could be a problem. We've got Nola, who is here for the whole rebuild, and then Sanchez, basically the whole rebuild too. So, like, we're feeling pretty good. Detmers doesn't become a free agent until later also, so we'll be fine money-wise. We'll definitely be able to work around it. So there's that. Season 1. Oh, hold on. Draft. So round 6, we got this guy, 46 overall, B potential. Yeah, there's that. Then we'll go to the 5th round really quickly. Horace McKenzie, A potential, 46 overall. 3rd round was Peter Cook, 50 overall with A potential. I totally skipped the 4th round. You know how numbers work. It's 6, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. So Larry Valentine, C potential, 63 overall. In the 2nd round, we got Brian Post, 62 overall, A potential, 2nd baseman, 3rd baseman. I like the hitting stats. That's really what I picked them up for. And then our number 1 pick was Wes Rivera, 63 overall pitcher. I felt like we were a little light on the pitching prospects, so I went and picked one up. He looks pretty good. I feel like he could be someone that kind of slots in towards the end of the rebuild, towards the back half of our rotation. So there we go. All right. So as you can see, 65 and 45, just above the Braves in the East, but it's draft pick time. Let's see how we did. So we did really well. We got Clinton Martin, who's got 89 potential, Alexis Ramirez, a catcher prospect with 91 potential. The hitting stats, a little iffy, but I saw that he had really good potential. We need a catcher prospect outside of Eduardo Tate, so I figured I'd take a chance on him. Steve Parnell, probably the steal of the draft at 71 overall with 93 potential. Bruce Ransom with 94, Cuevas with 91, and Loescher with 84. This draft was stocked with pitching talent. Like, there was so many different options that I could have gone with. Let me find one. There was Felipe Sanchez, who went before us, which I was bummed about because he was a target of mine. There was, where is he? Like, Duarte was a possible first round pick for us. Alden Ryan, I didn't choose, and I could have. And the reason I didn't take him was because of the walks per 9 and the home runs per 9, and the control was a little low. But now looking at him, I kind of wish I did take him, because those hits and Ks per 9 look really good. And this was actually the guy I was torn between him and the guy we went with. And I still think I should have went with this guy. So there's that. Maybe I made a mistake there. And the one position player that I was really hoping that would have made it to us was someone that the Mets actually took. As I say that, there is a generational talent in Rich Molina, who went to the White Sox. And let me show you who the Mets got. And I was really bummed because this guy was ranked like, I want to say like 30th or 40th on the MLB draft board, and we had him at like 16. And I was really hoping he would have fallen to us. It was Juan Segura. He just looked really well-rounded outfielder with good hitting stats, good fielding, and good speed. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to us. But as you can see, there's a lot of blue potentials in this draft, and it's not just relievers for once. There's a lot of pitchers. So I don't feel bad about missing a couple here and there. The Mariners took this guy way before we were even on the board, and he was ranked highly too. So there wasn't someone that I had my eye on. But yeah, a lot of good talent in this draft, and I feel like we did pretty good. I can't complain. So the season's over, 97 and 65, taking on the winner of the wild card. Who is that going to be? It is going to be the Brewers or the Braves. Either one's going to be a tough matchup. So league leaders, Jeff Hoffman had the most saves, Nola had the most complete games, and Trey Turner just went absolutely insane offensively, it looks like, which is awesome to see. Award winners, a delivery man of the year, a Hank Aaron award, and a batting title. Jack Flaherty was absolutely nasty. I actually saw him earlier in the year, like some of his stats. He went 20-2 with just above a 2 ERA, a sub 1 whip. Yeah, he was nasty. That's just gross stuff that he did. Maybe I should have signed Jurickson Profar. He was third in the MVP race for the Brewers. Okay. Trout won it on the other side. Speaking of the Angels, hold on. Let me show you what they did this offseason. They got Juan Soto. How did Rojas do? He hit 260. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep my eye on them. And then just really quickly, let me see. Did they add anything to the pitching? Lorenzen. That was really it. Oh, and Chris Paddock. Okay, so they made a trade for Chris Paddock. But okay. All right. Either way. So obviously Flaherty's going to win the Cy Young, and Cole Ragans is also going to win it. Judge and Trey Turner, batting title winners. Hoffman was reliever of the year, along with Duran. Marcelo Meyer won Rookie of the Year, and so did Charlie Condon. So if we take a look at our team here, I did call up, where is he? Tyler Phillips. He got 5 starts in September, and not bad. Definitely a guy that could potentially be a long reliever for our squad, or he might even sneak into the 5th spot in the rotation, because Christopher Sanchez. What is this? I don't really know what to make of this. He developed, but like, yeah, not the best season. Colby Allard was another long reliever that we had. He was fine. Nothing too crazy. I'm not upset with those numbers at all. Estevez was very good, and I'm hoping we can get one more season out of him, because this is the type of stuff I want in my bullpen. Alvarado, also extremely good. Orion Kirkering struggled this year. I don't know why. I had him in the setup role. He really struggled. I took him out, and he actually got his ERA under 5. It was like a 5.5 as a setup guy. It was actually closer to 6. So I'm glad he at least got it down to a 4.5 ERA. But the whip's in a good spot, so it's tough. A lot of home runs, a lot of runs. That's a big issue. Turnbull was great in this role. Strom was fantastic once we moved him to the setup. And then Jeff Hoffman is slightly regressing. I did give him a 4-year deal, and I'm hoping it's not going to come back to hurt us. That's just my hope. Wheeler, 4 ERA. I'm glad he got it under 4, because it wasn't for a majority of the year. Suarez was very good. He becomes a free agent. I tried to sign an extension during the season. He wanted almost 30 mil, so I'm hoping just maybe he came down a little bit in his expectations. We've got Nola, who was also very good. Detmers with a sub 4 ERA and a 1.3 whip. I will take this all day. If he can hover around this for the entirety of the rebuild and BR5, I'm okay with that. Like, that is not bad at all. Lineup wise, wow, Real Muto fell off a cliff. It's tough. It's tough to see him go out like that. Conforto was okay. I don't know if I mentioned that I signed him for 7 mil. It was 1 mil more than what Austin Hayes wanted, so I just went out and got Conforto because we needed a lefty bat on the bench outside of Cody Clemens. Sosa, yeah, it's whatever. Paul DeYoung, also a bench bat for us. Again, nothing too crazy. Cody Clemens was actually really good on the bench, so I'm hoping he can just stay our bench bat for the whole rebuild. Schwarber was not bad. 30 home runs, 340 on base percentage. I'll take it. Turner, 14 triples, 34 home runs, almost 50 doubles. I mean, this is a crazy season from him. Bryce Harper, kind of a disappointing season. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping we get a bounce back next year. I mean, it's still like fine, but you're definitely expecting, typical Bryce Harper. Vladdy was great, 35 home runs. Castellanos was Castellanos-ish. You can kind of see what he was doing there. Marsh, okay. Good on base percentage, good average, good OPS. I like that a lot. Bryson Stott, I will take those numbers for sure. And then Alcantara definitely did struggle. I'm expecting that. Not great versus lefties. That's a little worrisome, but he's gonna be 23 next year. I was expecting some bumps in the road, and then Marchand had to step in and be our catcher, and he also wasn't great. So I'm definitely in the market for a catcher. During the offseason, I did sign Logan Driscoll. I don't really see him being a long-term catcher. And then we do have Eduardo Tate, but again, doesn't look like he's going to be much of a hitter. So yeah, I'm definitely in the market for a catcher, 100%. Postseason time. How are we going to do here against the Brewers? And we are through. We didn't allow a single run in that series, which means we're about to get shelled by the Dodgers. It's just meant to be that way. So here we go. How do we go? Ooh, see? I mean, we allowed 6 right off the rip. Okay. We lose that one, but Wheeler wins it. We're taking on the Twins. Okay. And as I'm recording this, actually, the Twins have announced that they are exploring the possibility of selling the team, which is interesting. I wonder what happens with the Twins moving forward then. I mean, obviously, you get a new owner. You're expecting them to try to take that team to a World Series. So interesting. And looking at the team offensively, I feel like, yeah, the top is good. But then once you kind of get towards the bottom, you know, it's not as good. Pitching, it's going to be tough, right? They do have a good bullpen. So let's see who's pitching. Suarez. Do we have enough time in between? Oh, yeah, we definitely did. So it'll be Wheeler, Suarez, Nola. Yeah, I got mixed up there for a second. Boom, here we go. We lose. 2 straight games. But then we win. We win again. Please, Wheeler, get your revenge. He does, and we're 1 win away from a World Series. Oh no, Nola versus Ober, and we win 8-1 in season 1. We get a World Series, the award, Brandon Marsh, World Series MVP, Harper, playoff MVP. And looking at it, Harper was bringing in the run, so was Turner, so was Stott. Really quickly, let's take a look at pitching. Besides Detmers, everybody had a 2 ERA, a sub 3 ERA. Sanchez definitely struggled, so did Kirkering. Interesting. Lineup wise, really quickly, I mean, Castellanos did struggle a little bit. I mean, even Alcantara hit 283 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. That could be the kickstart that he needed. Huge first season. It's been a while since we won a World Series in the first season. No one retired, no one in the Hall of Fame. Okay, this is where things get interesting. We do have 100 million, which is double what I had to start last offseason. That's big. Thing is, where do we go with this team? I'm gonna explore trades for Castellanos, which does open up another spot that we have to work with or like fill, right? Because we'll have Marsh in left, Alcantara in center. We're gonna need a right fielder. We're gonna need a DH. Ooh, this might be difficult. Hold on. Do we have anybody in the farm system? I mean, I signed Reed in last offseason, but he's not really someone I'm looking to. Ooh, okay. Yeah, we're a little thin depth-wise. So, all right. Let me figure out these offers. All right, these are our current offers. It's about 22-ish, 23 mil for Suarez per year. Estevez wants 5.5, 5 for Schwarber, which is a good deal. I'll take it for 1 more year. I'm looking for 1 more year from Schwarber, and then Turnbull 2.5. Strom is the one that I'm super bummed about. I can't pay 13 mil. I can't. He's gonna be nasty for another team for another season or 2, but I can't do it. Not 13 mil. I've already got Hoffman on 10, and I feel like I can get another reliever for way less than 13 mil. He may not be a 1.2 ERA with an 8.8 whip, but I can guarantee that I'll find someone that is close to that kind of production for way cheaper. And especially since this deal might come back to hurt me, I just can't do it with Strom. So it sucks. I would like to keep him because he was so nasty for 2 seasons technically, but I can't pay it. I just don't have that kind of cash flow this season, so I gotta be smart with our money. So it's not a flashy trade, but it's a way to get Castellanos' contract off the books. I like Castellanos. I think I can't have that on the team anymore. Not for 20 mil. And this is a catcher that I saw that has a 1-year deal, and the numbers aren't pretty. I know they're not pretty hitting wise, but it's a fairly cheap deal, and I'm okay with this. This is a perfectly fine trade. All right, so I'm still in the offseason, December 19th, and I'm gonna take the bait. He's getting paid 5.3 mil. He's better than he's better than any of the outfielders that were available in free agency. for this price. And that price is Tyler McDonough. Either way, Tyler, a D potential starting pitcher, and Ryan Ward, a C potential first baseman. Yes, I'm going to take the bait. He's probably going to fall off a cliff this season, but I'm going to have to shuffle the outfield around a little bit. Essentially, Marsh is going to play center, which isn't ideal. Alcantara will move to right, and then Profar will play left. And that's the move. So to start the season, we're ranked 3rd, and really it's just defense again. Actually, we got faster, I believe. Pitching, we did get Ranger Suarez back. It ended up being 22.6 mil for 4 seasons, and the rest is the same. The only other change was Hunter Harvey joined us. 1-year deal, 5.5 mil, and then Alvarado is sticking around for the rest of the rebuild for just under 6 mil. I thought that was a pretty good deal, and that's our Matt Strahm replacement, essentially. And then I got a couple guys on waivers that filled this out. That's really about it. Lineup wise, our bench is Grisham, Sosa, Marchand, Clemens, and Kennedy. In the farm system, these are the main 2 that we got to worry about prospect wise. And then I signed a couple guys to fill out the roster. And then of course we've got a couple others that we can keep an eye on. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. Lineup wise, there we go. Profar is in left. That's the one main change, along with Carson Kelly as a catcher. But other than that, it's kind of the same team in terms of like actual starters. So I feel good. We won a World Series. Let's go make it back to back. Alrighty, draft time. Let's see how we did. And here we go. So Jack Brown, 63 overall, 89 potential. Not bad. I really wanted somebody that went to the Cubs. He was ranked 34th by MLB, 16th by our scouts, and the Cubs took him at like pick 17. Super disappointed. That's our catcher for the future. Didn't happen. Next pick was Rex Samuel out of Venezuela, 61 overall, 89 potential as well. B potential for Bud Hopkins, a shortstop who isn't going to be a shortstop, probably a second baseman. Not bad. Matt Lawrence with 99 potential. We got William Yang with 79 potential, and then Workman also has 90 plus potential. Not bad. I'll take it. 97 and 65 is how we finished the season. Again, taking on the winner of the wild card, which is going to be the Braves or the Cubs. Not bad. All right, so we had no awards this year, but we did have a league leader. Ranger Suarez pitched fantastically. I don't even think that's a word. Bryce Harper had the most. Fantastically doesn't sound like a real word. It might be. The way it just doesn't sound right. Either way, awards. Mookie Betts won MVP. Vlad was at least in the conversation. Gunnar Henderson won it on the AL side. Cole Reagans was the Cy Young winner for the Royals in the American League, and Shohei won it in the National League. Ranger Suarez was also in the mix. I'll take it. Mookie won the batting title along with Aaron Judge. Duran, back-to-back relievers of the year, and Evan Phillips. You did see Matt Strahm. I told you he was going to absolutely ball. I can't afford a $17 million contract. He was their closer, though, and he wasn't going to be our closer. If he was our closer, I definitely would have gone in on 17 mil, but we have Hoffman currently, so that was our decision. Kobe Mayo was Rookie of the Year along with Carson Benj. Okay, talking about our team. So I really wanted Andrew Painter to be in the playoff roster because he came up in September, got 5 games, started them, and looked pretty good. But because I added him to the 40-man in September, I couldn't add him to the playoff roster, so sadly he wasn't part of the squad. Colby Allard sucked, Tyler Phillips sucked, and also Owen White. All pretty bad. Even though Owen White only pitched 5 innings, he got shelled. 5 innings, 3 home runs, 5 walks, 8 earned runs. Yikes. So there's that. So Turnbull was kind of a middle relief guy that I'm going to move to long relief for the postseason. But again, very solid. I don't know if I bring him back again, though. We'll have to wait and see. Reed Detmers, yeah, 5 ERA after what he put up last year. Just really disappointed in that. Estevez, again, fantastic. And he pitched more. So there's that. Orion Kirkering definitely had a bounce back season. Love to see that. Tanner Banks is going to take over for Turnbull's spot so that we can have that extra long reliever. Hunter Harvey, 1-year deal. Again, pretty solid. And then Alvarado stepped in for Strahm and was just as good. And then Hoffman, I'll take that for sure. Wheeler, top of the rotation. Again, very solid. Ranger Suarez was a Cy Young candidate for a reason. Unbelievable season from him. Nola's regressing. Ooh, not really. Good season. I'll take it. Christopher Sanchez. I see the growth. And the season was better. I'll take it at least. And then obviously we saw Reed Detmers. So let's take a look at the lineup. So our bench was pretty abysmal this year. It didn't matter who was hitting. They weren't. So Marchand was pretty good off the bench. But, you know, Buddy Kennedy only had 18 at bats. So it's kind of tough to judge him on that. And Cody Clemens was not great. And you can kind of see I signed a bunch of guys. I'm probably going to call up Owen Miller to be on the bench next year. This guy developed pretty well. Keep that in mind. And then Aiden Miller, a little bit. Still a few years away. He's still only 21. And I think that was really about it for the most part. If we take a look at Schwarber, he hit 41 home runs in the leadoff spot. That's great. Trey Turner did regress a little bit. It's kind of expected. I'm a little worried how much more he's going to regress. But like also his 2025 season was absolutely insane. Harper, bounce back year. Love to see it. Vladdy was in the MVP race for a reason. Profar. One season, I'll take it. He is regressing a little bit, so like I'm a little hesitant to try to offer him another contract, but hey, for that trade, I will take it. Marsh continues to improve, continues to put up those crazy numbers. Carson Kelly, is he regressing at all? Not really. I might try to bring him back. Those are great numbers for a catcher. And then Bryson Stott, not as good as he was last year. Alcantara is growing. And the numbers, they don't really show it. So it's a little disappointing. He's just striking out a lot. You can tell. So at 23 years old, I still have faith in him to develop. I just need a big season. We need like a breakout year in season 3. I'm hoping for it. It's postseason time though against the Cubs. And not good. We got swept. And it looks like Alvarado blew it here. So yikes. We weren't even scoring runs. Are the Cubs just insane? What's their lineup? That's just the Cubs. They've added Alejandro Kirk. That's it. We got absolutely destroyed. All right, let's see who wins the World Series. The Red Sox defeat the Cubs. So, yeah. Well, we got some changes to do because that was abysmal. Wow, we got swept. Okay. Here, Schwarber, are we going to do it again? Or are we going to run it back? I think we do. I mean, for 4.5, even if he ends up being a bench bat, it's not the worst. I'm going to let Turnbull go for now. I'm going to... Let's see here. Free Mill. Okay, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. I'm going to keep him in the back of my mind as well. Carson Kelly for one more season. 9 mil. Okay, I'll keep that in mind too. Grisham, no. Sosa, if you want like 4 or 5 mil, we can talk. Not gonna entertain that right now. And then Profar, 8 mil's tempting because he could start in left field. So I'm gonna lowball him because I know he won't sign to start, but at least I'll have the offer out just so that I know it's there. And then also for Kelly, I'm gonna lowball him just so I have the offer out and I can think about it. And then how much money did I say I have? 80 mil. Oh, I'm going to only be able to sign like one big name, if anything. Season 3, we're ranked first and actually improved on the defense. Oh, yeah, we're moving up in the world. So pitching rotation-wise, I'm probably going to move Wheeler down. It's the last year of his contract. He's been regressing pretty quickly the last few seasons. And I feel like we should probably move him down a little bit. He's been fantastic for us though, but Ranger Suarez is the new ace with Nola, Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, who only wanted 6.5 mil for an extension. So I gave him a 2-year extension. That means he's going to be in the rotation for the rest of the rebuild. If he can just hold his rating for 2 seasons, 3 seasons including this one, we're set. Reed Detmers, I'm going to give him one more shot, especially because he becomes a free agent this year. And if it doesn't work out, then we've got a couple guys we can turn to. Painter is the next one up, 100%. I signed John Means as a long reliever just because we needed some depth, and he wanted 7 mil. I felt that was fine. And then in the bullpen, we've got Bednar on a $2.5 million deal, Romano on a $3.5 million deal. And again, for once, I don't actually have depth. I made our starter that we drafted, I think in season 1, Valentine, a closer, because I realized he only had 65 stamina, and I was like, we need some pitching depth. So let's rock with that. Lineup wise, we made some changes. This is our bench. Grisham came back on a very similar deal from last year, and then we have Emmanuel Valdez and Owen Miller as infielders. The changes are on the actual lineup. Well, Carson Kelly is regressing, which is awesome, but he signed a $2 million or 2-year deal for $8.5 million. In terms of other catchers that were available, there was Jonah Heim, Alejandro Kirk, and the other big name was Ryan Jeffers. And I looked at Kirk's numbers. Carson Kelly's was better in terms of production, even though he was a little bit older. I was like, okay, Kirk wanted around 10, 11 mil. Jeffers wanted close to 20 mil, but he was absolutely mashing. And I was like, I don't want to pay 20 mil. I can't afford to pay 20 mil for a catcher right now. And then Jonah Heim was 1 year younger than Carson Kelly, and his numbers were way worse. His OPS was like 660. And I was like, you know what? Carson Kelly for 8.5 mil for this year and next year doesn't sound too bad. But the big addition you can see is Jazz Chisholm. He signed for like 11 mil for 4 years. I backloaded it, and I'm going to take it. The numbers aren't amazing, but I felt like him in center, let's rock with it. I know he's been playing third in real life, but you know what? I'm going to make it. It's a fantasy rebuild anyways. Let's rock with him in center field, Alcantara in right, and Marsh in left. And then the team basically speaks for itself. No other changes. I feel pretty good about it. Budget-wise, we are over quite a bit, but we are about to lose Wheeler's big contract this year. And I think that's really about it in terms of losing players. John Means, Grisham, a bunch of, Marsh, Stott, Schwarber, and Detmers are names to keep an eye on. Marsh wants like 25 mil. Stott wants like 17 mil. I can't pay that. So they might leave. We'll have to hopefully find something in free agency or through a trade, or hope that they take a cheaper deal. We'll see. All right, so our first actual in-season trade is going to be Bryson Stott for Urangelo. I don't know how to say his name. It's a switch pitcher. So yeah, we're going to pick him up. The Mariners offered him in a trade. I just kind of like suggested trade to see who I could get for Bryson Stott. And I'm also going to pick up this guy who they drafted. So 2 pitchers, just a little bit more depth. And I just wasn't going to offer Bryson Stott the 17, 18 mil that he was looking for a contract. I actually think it was like 15 to 18, somewhere in that range. I can't do that. He hasn't really produced for us in any of the seasons. So I'm going to take 2 pitchers instead. I got to see what our budget's going to be like. It's basically going to be the same as every other year. The issue is I'm going to need a pitcher. Urangelo is probably going to get sent down here, which will hopefully not be his third option. So you can see Painter came up for Detmers. Detmers was struggling, but I'm going to need somebody for Wheeler. And I could potentially trade for somebody. I mean, even Detmers is getting rocked in AAA right now. What is going on? But we've got Means, we've got Painter, we've got Owen White, who's like more of a long reliever moving forward. We just got Urangelo. This guy's doing pretty well, who we drafted, and then also this guy who we drafted is looking pretty well. I'm doing okay at second base currently because I'm going to actually call up Post. Or do I call up Miller, who looks like more of a third baseman? I'm going to call up Post. I'm going to see how he does to finish the season. 40-man. Let's see here. Let's get rid of this guy. If someone picks him, I just signed him in free agency, so if somebody picks him up, it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Post. He's 25 years old, and let's see how he does as our second baseman. And then the big thing is Marsh wants so much money. He wants so much money. He wants 27 mil. I don't think I can afford that. So I think I want to trade him. It's just one, I don't really know who to go after at this point. Like, I could go after another outfielder. So I'm going to hold off because he's been producing for us and doing very well. So I would like to keep him, but I'm going to see how free agency treats us, see where we're at budget-wise come the end of the year, and then we'll go from there. Just because it's really difficult to kind of judge where we're going to be at if I offer this contract, right? Because like at the bottom it says payroll goes from 179 to 206. Well, how much money do I have left over after I offer this contract? So I'm going to wait till free agency to make that decision. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. So I just wanted to show you that trade. We finished 107 and 55. Crazy season. Again, taking on the winner of the wild card. We've been amazing. We're taking on the Cubs or the Braves. Again, like the Cubs swept us last year, so maybe I don't want to face them. League leaders, Christopher Sanchez. Hey, he got the extension. He's like, coach, I got you. And then Vladdy, 206 hits. I will take that. Did I see? Man, I should have kept Profar. I should have kept Profar one more year. Holy cow. How much did he sign for? $6 million? He wanted a 3-year contract, though. Ooh, I don't think I would have been able to do that. Awards, MVP for Vladdy. I will take that. Seager won it on the other side. Skubal with the Astros won the Cy Young. And Spencer Strider, Cy Young winner on the National League side. Mookie Betts and Soto were the batting title winners. Strom again with the, oh no, this time with the reliever of the year. Last year he was in the race. I think he finished 3rd. So yeah, it looks like a great pickup for the Mariners. And you know, yeah, it sucks that we lost him, but you can see Jeff Hoffman was in the race for us, and he's been good for us too. So I'm not too upset with that. Christian Robinson now with the with the Giants, formerly of the Diamondbacks, was Rookie of the Year, and Kendrick Lynn was the Rookie of the Year on the Royals side. So sadly, I think Detmer's time as a Philly, I almost said an Angel, as a Philly is going to come to an end unless I can get him on a cheap deal, and maybe he'll be our long reliever then. This trade, I think we lost. I did look at Johan Rojas though, and he wasn't much better. At one point he was on the trade block, so you can kind of see like he had a good season last year. So yeah, I mean, like, I guess take it or leave it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it wasn't great for us. I still think we lost it though, for sure. I think we did. But John Means is our long reliever. This year was good. Painter came up, gave us 60 innings, pretty solid once again. So he will 100% be in the rotation. Romero, unbelievable pickup for us. We paid him $6 million a season for the next 3 years. Great pickup. Orion Kirkering struggled again. Tough. Bednar was very good. 1 year, $2.5 million. That was a steal. Romano struggled a little bit for sure, and I only gave him 1 year, so he will not be returning. Alvarado continues to be a great setup man for us, and then Hoffman still doing the business as a closer. Suarez, unbelievable at the top of the rotation. Nola, again, a fantastic season. He is regressing pretty heavily, though. It's starting to happen. It's happening year by year. It's not heavily, but he is regressing. He's going to start hitting that Zach Wheeler regression soon, even though Zach Wheeler, once again, a good season. Christopher Sanchez up to an 87, and he balled out this year. And if we take a look at our lineup really quickly, you can kind of see who's on the bench for us. It wasn't terrible, right? Like, a couple guys were good. This guy I'm only gonna have face lefties, because it kind of seems like that's where he excels. We'll see how it goes. And then Schwarber had a 370 on base percentage with 30 home runs. Turner bounced back from last season. Bryce Harper continues to develop, but produce for us. My mouth is so dry, I can't even speak. Let's get some water here real quick. Let's get a swig. We're good to go. All right, Vladdy, there we are. Amazing season. Jazz, kind of what he's been doing, so that's fine. Brendan Marsh is regressing. Okay, I'll take that in consideration when we hit free agency now. Carson Kelly, not as good as last year, a little disappointing, but he did hit 18 home runs as a catcher. And then Owen Miller took over for second base. And in the 180 at-bats, he wasn't bad. But this guy right here, 270, he did cool off a little bit at the deadline. He had a 300 average. So he did cool off, but at 800 OPS, a 350 on base percentage, 14 home runs, 30 doubles. I'm happy with those numbers. So heading into the postseason, let's do it. We are facing the Braves this time, and ooh, that's a tough loss. We are going to go back to Suarez, and we are eliminated by the Braves. It was this game. If we win that game, completely changes the series, but we lost it 1-0. We just couldn't score. We didn't score more than 2 runs a game. So maybe the offense needs to change. Bryce Harper, good Lord, man. Vladdy, oh my, what happened? What is their pitching staff? Let's take a peek at the Braves. I mean, it's pretty good. That's a pretty good pitching staff. Yeah, it's a pretty good pitching staff. But still, man, Like, I can't take a look at team rankings because it's going to do the postseason team rankings. Oh, it's not. Okay, so runs wise, we were the Phillies. What were we? Oh yeah, so this is the postseason rankings. Yeah, we can't score 2 runs a game and expect to win. It's just not good enough. All right, so we're starting off season 4 by acquiring Luis Castillo, and you're probably thinking, why would I do that? So I can get Aaron Nola's contract off the books. As good as he has been, it's gonna come crashing down. And Luis Castillo's been okay, and the contract is similar, but this opens up money for us next year, and we're gonna need it because I didn't even make the trade. But you can kind of see, like, we need the money. We need to open up some money. We just do. And his contract is backloaded, so it's only gonna get higher. So let's go back to the Mariners and let's just take the trade and walk away and just pretend like it didn't happen, because we just need to do it. So probably thinking, what did you do with the limited money that you had? Not a lot. I did bring back Detmers. I'm gonna regret it. I already know that, but I just had to, and there really weren't many other options that were in my budget. So we brought in Nate Pearson. Luckily, he only wanted $4 million, and he's been fine. So there's a bullpen addition. Camilo Doval has been hit or miss. I'm hoping he's a hit. I gave him a 1-year prove-it deal, $3.5 million, and then we still have Alvarado and Hoffman. Hoffman's entering the last year of his contract. Depth-wise, a lot of starters, so potentially make them relievers if need be, along with Bednar and Brule. That's really about it. Lineup-wise, it's the same. No changes. Just Post is going to start at second base. That's literally it. Maybe JP Crawford. That's a new guy for $6 million, former Philly himself. Yeah, I don't have a lot of money. I'm getting a little crunched here. Aiden Miller probably gets called up next year, and Ramirez is still probably just a backup catcher at best, just based on his rating. Yeah, I got Brandon Marsh to come back on a 1-year, $16 million deal. I think this might be the last year that he's good, so I think it works out for us anyways. And Schwarber's back. I tried to sign like 4 players, and the Dodgers went after like every single one of them. I tried to get Rooker. He went with the Dodgers. They somehow got Quan for $10 million when he was asking for like $15-16 million. They got Willy Adames to sign a $6.9 million contract when he was asking for like $12-13 million. They got J Ram to sign an $11.5 million contract. I tried to sign him. He wanted 20. Like, oh yeah. Lou Bob wanted almost 30 from me, and he signed for 23. What is going on with the Dodgers in franchise? Look at the bench. And I mean, they got Corbin Burns. It's not like they're not signing players. They got AJ Puck. How much did they pay for him? That was kind of what he was offering. It's just, I have too many lefties in my bullpen. So like, what I'm noticing is the Dodgers are waiting until the end of the free agency period when some players are still available, and they're just lowballing them. And because they're the Dodgers, they're getting like that. They're getting a higher chance of signing them. It has to be that, because if you're not a competitor, obviously you have to pay more to sign these players. So because the Dodgers are always a competitor, they're gonna get these players for cheaper. And I think that's what's happening. And this is garbage. This is so bull. I'm somehow second. I have the second to last defense in the league. I hope to win another World Series. I wanted Rooker to take over for Schwarber because I know Schwarber's going to suck. I just know it. And I don't really have anybody. I've been drafting pitchers because I figured I would need pitchers. Oh, I signed Logan Gilbert. That's my Wheeler replacement. I got him for $18 million a season. I was so flustered by the Dodgers that I don't even know who I've signed anymore. And I had to pay $18 million. Meanwhile, they probably would have had to pay like $6 million. All right, so yeah, I've been drafting pitchers fairly well in preparation for anybody sucking, and we need to turn to them. So Painter's in the rotation. That's it. My head's gone. I need to win a World Series. 101 and 61. Again, taking on the winner of the wild card. Like, we're absolutely dominating the division. We're absolutely doing well throughout the season. We just got to take it to the next step and win another World Series. Take it on the Pirates or the Reds. Let's see, a league leader, Ranger Suarez, and offensively, Trey Turner. All right. Tatis won MVP. You got Royce Lewis, who was the AL MVP. Bailey Ober, along with Shohei Ohtani, were the Cy Young winners. India and Correa batting title winners, and then Ian Hamilton along with TJ Antone were the relievers of the year. If we take a look at Rookie of the Year, it went to Connor Griffin of the Pirates. Is he a Pirate in real life? I don't know. Brian Post finished second, and then Ruben Romano of the Astros finished first and won Rookie of the Year. So if we take a look at our pitching staff, we have one major issue. Jeff Hoffman was terrible this season. Absolutely terrible. 6.5 ERA, 1.7 whip. Yikes. I think Steve Parnell will get a shot next year. He looks pretty solid at 80 overall. And then who else? Anybody else? I don't think anybody else made a debut. Well, Reed Detmers was pretty good. Of course, he's good now. I think I might try to bring him back for another year, depending on how things look in free agency and money, because he doesn't want a lot of money for an extension. And Andrew Painter also kind of struggled this season, but I'm going to give him another shot because the previous year he was good, and the year before. Nate Pearson wasn't bad. Again, for $4 million, I think it's a perfectly fine bullpen arm. We've got Orion Kirkering, who does have arbitration for the final year. I'm going to take it. He was fantastic this season. Urangelo came up, gave us a couple long innings of relief, and he was good. 40 innings, 2.4 ERA. I really like him as part of the rotation or the bullpen, either one. And then Camilo Doval pitched very well. I don't know if it's going to be worth trying to bring him back. That walks per 9 scares me, but maybe. We'll see, depending on the price. Jojo Romero took over setup roles, and Alvarado took over the closer role. Fantastic. Our starters, Ranger Suarez has been fantastic this entire rebuild, and hopefully he doesn't regress too much because he has our ace next year. Gilbert was also fantastic. He's starting to regress, which is not great. And Christopher Sanchez was also very good. And to round out our rotation, Luis Castillo was strong. So I'm pretty happy with the team pitching wise. A couple rough spots, but I think we'll be okay. This is post. This is also post. And this was, who was this? Pavin Smith, who shouldn't be leading off versus lefties. So instead, maybe JP Crawford? I guess. Schwarber wasn't great. Yeah, I'm going to take him off the postseason roster. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to take out Valdez. You gotta have Schwarber on the postseason roster. He can't not be. So let's get rid of Valdez for now, and we'll run with it and see. Maybe Schwarber versus lefties. We'll rock with that. So Owen Miller, he was fine. He wasn't great. Marchand wasn't great. JP Crawford was fine. Good on base percentage. Aiden Miller's gonna get called up. Didn't have any MLB at bats this season, but at 80 overall, I definitely think he deserves a shot. And then Pavin Smith took over versus righties in the DH spot. He was fine. Nothing too crazy. Schwarber, like we said, definitely wasn't amazing. Trey Turner was, though. Pretty happy with that. Bryce Harper continues to mash. Love to see that. Vladdy, still doing well. I might have to reorder things a little bit. Maybe Trey Turner leads off. We'll have to wait and see. Brandon Marsh continues to mash. The thing is, I know I'm not going to be able to afford him, so we're going to have to look in a different direction. We've got Carson Kelly, who is regressing, which does suck. So we will be in the market for a catcher. So another position that I have to fill with very limited money. Jazz had a great season. Really happy with that. Developed a little bit too. Love it at 94 overall. And then Kevin Alcantara at 80 overall. Second best season of his career. And if we can just hover around the 800 OPS, I'll be perfectly fine with that. He's still developing, still only 25. So looking solid. And then Brian Post. Not great. So we definitely didn't do well offensively, and I think that's kind of surprising considering we still won 101 games. So how do we do against this Pirates team? We are through, taking on this juiced Dodgers team now, which is going to be difficult. It's going to be real difficult. Let's see how we do here. Yeah, I mean, okay. And we didn't get swept, so that's good. And we're still alive somehow. Still alive. Christopher Sanchez, we got through them. So now we're taking on the Mariners, who, really quickly, let's see here. Sean Kimball was season 1's draft. They somehow got Colson Montgomery from the White Sox. They have Teoscar, Isaac Paredes. I mean, that's one of those like underrated teams on franchise. And then their pitching staff is good. How did Nola do for them? He was good. Maybe I got rid of him one season too early. And they have Strahm. Is this going to come back to hurt me? Is this gonna be one of those where I'm gonna be like, this is gonna suck, you know, like one of those? All right, so let's move everybody up a spot. We do have Logan Gilbert though, so like, and Luis Castillo, so maybe they get the final like haha. So can we do it? Suarez versus Kirby, that's a good start. Logan Gilbert against his former team takes the 9-8 victory. I'm assuming he wasn't the winner, it was Jojo Romero, but either way, we still got the win. We're up 3-0. We do lose that one, but we win it thanks to Ranger Suarez, and that is our second World Series of the rebuild. Pavin Smith, the MVP, and Bryce Harper again, the postseason MVP. Pavin Smith hit 524 in the postseason. Bryce Harper, or in the World Series, Bryce Harper hit 407 in the postseason. Pavin Smith was 1 for 3 throughout the postseason. Basically, like, that's good. Pitching wise, let's take a look here. I'll take that for my starters all day. Obviously, these two got roughed up a little bit. Urangelo only got 1 outing. Kind of a mixed bag from the bullpen, but again, you're probably only getting like 1 or 2 games from them. I mean, the top 3 absolutely, top 4 absolutely mashed. But okay, Alcantara I think was pretty good in the postseason when we won the World Series last time too. So he might just be a big game player. You just need to get him into the postseason and he's going to deliver. I just lost half my staff. Holy cow. All right, final season. And we have a lot of free agents. We do have 122 mil to play with, which is the biggest we've had since like our second off season. So it's honestly, I don't even know what to do, so I'm not even going to talk you through it. Let's just get to season 5. All right. So I was looking for an outfielder and oops, that's not what I wanted. Anyways, I was looking for an outfielder. There's Riley Green, there's Jordan. I used Riley Green in the Cardinals rebuild. I don't want to, double up on a player, and Jordan would be cool. I'm not going to lie. But you know what would be cooler? Let's just go back to the Angels really quick, and let's send off Mike Trout. Let's send off Mike Trout with the World Series. How about that? Let's go for, let's see here. Let's see, who would they want? Maybe a Robert Moore. Okay. And I will give them also, let's go with Freddie Tarnick. Yeah, sure. Deal. Mike Trout's a Philly. Alrighty, so once again, terrible defensive team. Okay with the speed. Here's the pitching staff. We're going with some homegrown players. We got Painter, we've got Parnell. Detmers is back because he was pretty good as a long reliever. We still got Gilbert, Sanchez, and Suarez. I'm looking at Wes Rivera as a possible guy to get called up, along with, where did he go? We should have one more. Am I mistaken? I mean, Phillips potentially, Rivera, maybe Martin, but it's probably Wes Rivera. He looks the best of the bunch. Maybe Matt Lawrence. The clutch is a little low, but maybe him. So there's a couple guys, but realistically, I went with we've got some guys that I just felt like they'd be fine. Oh, I have a couple on waivers too. We'll be okay. So bullpen currently looks like this. Bo Brisky has joined us, 6 mil, been really good. I like that. And Ryan Weathers also has joined us, has been pretty good, 6 mil as well. So for 12 mil, we got 2 new pitchers. I'm liking the bullpen. I'm liking the starting rotation. I'm feeling good about it. Just to kind of show you what Parnell's looking like. He's up to an 80. I think he'll be fine. He might struggle a little bit, but as a 5, I think we'll be all right. And for once, I am over budget. I was going to say for once I'm not, but I am. What did the Dodgers do this offseason, you ask? Let me tell you. They signed Gunnar Henderson along with Tristan Casas. Just a casual pickup there. Somehow have Caba now. I don't know where they picked him up from. They also signed Ryan Pepio. So they've been wheeling and dealing. They did sign Gunnar Henderson to a big deal too. So I mean, let me just take a trade with them just to kind of see where they're at money wise. Oh, just a casual 25 mil over the budget. Makes sense. Lineup wise, speaking of budgets, I did go over because, Mike Trout's contract's crazy at 35 mil. And we brought in another Angel, Logan O'Hoppe, signed him for 15 mil. I thought about getting Francisco Alvarez, but he wanted over $30 million. Just couldn't do it. And also, where is he? O'Neal Cruz has joined us. I was thinking about getting Anthony Volpe, but he wanted close to 40 million. And I wouldn't have been able to get Trout and O'Hoppe if I would have gotten Volpe. So instead, I went for O'Neal Cruz, who signed for 13 mil. I know in real life he's becoming more of an outfielder, but I completely forgot to switch him to an outfielder on this roster. So he's been playing short base. He's been playing shortstop. So he just hit 42 home runs. I figured for $13 million, I'll give it a shot. Post, Driscoll, Valdez, Kennedy, and Pavin Smith are our bench, and it's the final season. Let's go win our third World Series. All right, so before we start the season, I'm missing Urangelo. I just realized that. I was wondering where he went while I was looking through the team. I'm missing Urangelo. Like, where did he go? There, he went to the Yankees. What? Did I accidentally not give him a contract? All right, so I'm gonna have to match his contract at minimum. Will they take? Okay, so that's a good start. Okay, so we're close there. So, okay, how am I gonna make this deal possible? All right, we're gonna have to do a couple pitchers here. I think we're gonna go with, can't use him because he's on waivers. I'm not gonna use Peter Cook, so that'll work. And then I guess we can give up. Will that work? Almost. What about him? All right, Urangelo's back in the team. That's a huge oversight on my part. So with that in mind, I can move him to AAA, and Urangelo will go like that. We'll go like that for the season. I can't believe I was missing him, and I didn't even realize that. So yeah, everything else is the same. Urangelo's back in the team. 108 and 54 winners of the division, taking on the winner of the wild card, which is going to be the Giants or the Braves. Oh, I was gonna say the Dodgers didn't make it, but they're in the 2 spot. Duh. League leaders: Suarez with the most innings pitched, and O'Neal Cruz had the most home runs and RBIs. Vladdy had the most walks. If you take a look at awards, we have a reliever of the year in Jose Alvarado, and O'Neal Cruz won MVP. Talk about a pickup. Jordan won it on the other side. 2 twins in the mix for the MVP. Hunter Brown and Glasnow won Cy Young. Ranger Suarez was in the mix. Brian Reynolds and Jordan batting title winners. Strom, okay. Reliever of the year, Alvarado won it for us. Alden Ryan, a pick from the first draft of the Dodgers, won Rookie of the Year, beating out Grant Levine and Aiden Miller. Jack Caglione won it on the other side. All right, so Reed Detmers was pretty comparable to a couple of our other pitchers, and he had a 4.7 ERA with a 1.47 whip. I could have called up Wes Rivera. He actually looks like he's pretty close. Urangelo had a 4.47 ERA with the 1.4 whip, and Painter had a 4.78 with the 1.46 whip. So all three of them were kind of just floating in and out of that 5th rotation spot. We've got Nate Pearson, who was unbelievable this season. Love seeing that. Kirkering, also very good. So he had that one like rough season in 2027 and 2025, but for the majority of the rebuild, fantastic. Bo Brisky, unbelievable. Same thing with Weathers. Same thing with Jojo Romero. And Jose Alvarado was reliever of the year for a reason. Suarez continues to do really well, even though he's dropped all the way to 86 overall. I mean, he was great the whole rebuild. Logan Gilbert was also fantastic, even though he's 83 overall now. And Steve Parnell with 32 innings pitched, a 3 ERA, and a 1.19 whip. And then Christopher Sanchez did struggle a little bit too, but we're going to rock with these 3 as our postseason, or 4, I should say, as a postseason rotation. Our bench looks like this. Some good, some bad, right? Like Valdez and Post were pretty good, even though Post only had 7 at-bats. And that's really about it. Trey Turner in the leadoff spot, 13 triples. That's really all that matters. He did kind of fall off a little bit. Harper down to an 86 overall, still put up great numbers. Vladdy still putting up good numbers. Pop did drop a little bit. With 27 home runs. Trout 925 OPS with 30 home runs. We've got 40 home runs from O'Neal Cruz, 24 home runs from O'Hoppe with a 280 average and a 358 on base percentage. Jazz almost at 800 OPS. I'll take it. Alcantara, a potential now. 838 OPS. There we go. It only took until he was 26. We did have to be a little patient with him, but it actually worked out for us in the end. And then Aiden Miller, not a bad rookie campaign at all. So I might actually move some things around here. So maybe Turner comes down and maybe we go a little crazy and do something like this for the postseason. Something like this. and then he can stay up versus lefties a little bit higher. So it's postseason time. Take it on the Braves. Let's go take a look and see what they've got going on here. So 2 new players right off the rip. Okay. You know, Tom Smith's. Oh, I thought I said 88 for a second. I think I was looking at Michael Harris's rating. You know what? We should win. We should win. So let's start it off right with Suarez. Okay, never mind. We do win the second and the third, and we end up winning anyways. That's perfectly fine. The Dodgers. Glasnow does have a 7.20 ERA, but like, we need to win at least one. We can't go out 0-2. So at least we won the first. We won the second. Lose the third and the fourth, but Ranger Suarez gets us back on track. It's Gilbert versus Ryan. Please. Thank you. All right, the Guardians. The Guardians are in the World Series, and they have Dan Cannon, Rocio, Jimenez, DeLauder. Okay. I mean, that just looks like players they've drafted, plus an already, like Jake Bauers is like the only new guy. And pitching-wise, okay. You know, the Guardians are kind of that sneaky team. They just are. So, I had Parnell pitching first. I think we've had enough time where, yeah, we've had plenty time where I can just go who I want. So can we do it? 3 out of 5. Can we do it? We're 1-1 so far. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. It comes down to Sanchez versus McKenzie. And there it is. 3 World Series for the Phillies. And Vladdy was the World Series MVP and the postseason MVP. I mean, I will take it. Kevin Alcantara, again. The guy is just a postseason player. You just got to give it to him. Bryce Harper, I don't think really... No, he had that one good postseason where we won the World Series. But Vladdy was good. Trout was okay. Ohapi was pretty bad. Trey Turner was good. Jazz was good. Alcantara was fantastic. And Aiden Miller struggled a little bit. Pitching-wise, if we take a look at the team, Parnell definitely did struggle, but the rest of the starters were great. Painter struggled a little bit. So did Pearson. The bullpen's kind of tough to judge him on, but I'm pretty happy with those World Series. 3 of them in a 5-year rebuild. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button down below. This one we went a little crazy with. Got some new acquisitions, and I felt like that's what the Phillies do. They go out and get some talent. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and liked the video. If you're looking for more content, check out the one that's on screen now. I definitely think you will enjoy it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.